come do my makeup while I talk to you about how grad school is going. Um, I don't have many things in mind. I just wanted to do my makeup because, okay, it's really early and my night class was canceled, and I've been kind of not doing much all day. I mean, I found this really cool paper that is kind of talking about, you know, the perception of Venezuelans since, kind of they migrated. Well, we migrated. I'm part of that bunch. If you didn't know, I'm from Venezuela, and like kind of looking at the development of identity that results from such a major, geopolitical event. And well, that's the first thing that you could know about grad school. At least my definition of having fun these days is finding something cool to read. So it's not something that I mean, it's, something that maybe I hoped that I would like obviously really get into my craft and everything. But yeah, I mean, when you're in university, especially when you are doing advanced studies, like I'm doing a PhD, I think, well, I've only been doing it for a month. So take that with a grain of salt. But it's definitely like all about the research in a sense. So that will take a huge role in your life. And I've noticed how it has for sure. Like most of the things that I do are related to reading a lot. Not as much writing at the moment, but I know that will come in soon. But talking about more fun things, I might have a concert next week. I'm really praying that I can go because things are getting complicated right now. For context, it's Brutalismos 3000. If you don't know them, they're this techno group from Berlin, and they do like, I don't know, industrial rave hard techno stuff, and they're really good. And I mean, to me they're a really special group because they're one of the first groups that I really liked when I first started getting into techno. And also it's like a group that I have a friend who also, she really got me into the scene and everything a couple of years back. And this was a group that we shared in our likes, like it was a very special thing to see that they're doing a US tour because they usually only tour Europe. So I bought these tickets so long ago because I knew I was gonna move to where I'm moving to where I've moved now, and they were coming to a city nearby. It's not even close to where I'm at right now, but it's like a nearby city. But I didn't realize it was like in the middle of the week, which is so random. Like you would expect these tickets to be on a weekend, right? But I think nothing was gonna stop me anyway. Like I didn't care. I just bought them. And now I it's next week, and money's a little tight, and like the logistics seem kind of complicated. I've already asked my professors like if I had to like skip that class. Like I kind of didn't say that it's to go to a rave, but I did say that I made these plans way in advance without realizing what my class schedule would look like. And everybody's been really accepting. I guess that's another thing that you can know about grad school. Professors are a lot more understanding. I think that the more advanced you go in academia, even though like from very early on, professors tend to scare you with the rigor of academia. And this, I mean, there's definitely rigorous professors, don't get me wrong, but I think generally as you get older, people start talking to you more like a person rather than just a student. So the expectation just shifts to put the responsibility even more upon you. Like if you have to skip class, if you're sick, like no one's expecting you to lie. You're probably sick, right? And if you had to skip class, like you probably wouldn't lie. Like I wouldn't. Maybe in undergrad, I would have said like, "Oh, I have COVID," and then just not gone to class. But now I'm just gonna be like, I have something that was planned. I have an event. I have this thing. I have to skip this one class. I'll make up for the work, and it's really in my benefit to make up for the work. Like they are gonna teach it no matter what. But if I don't know it, then it's gonna screw me over when I have to do research or maybe write a paper where that could have been useful. Like, it's definitely something that you have to keep in the back of your mind. Like time passes, and as time passes, what are you gonna make of that time? Back to the fun things. Back to the makeup part of this video. So this is what we're working with. I've owned this palette for so long. It's like I bought it. I don't even remember where. It's like this Patricia Bright Revolution. I just bought it because it had a bunch of colors, So I'm thinking I have a couple options that I got from Pinterest. I'm gonna put some photos here, and I want to make some kind of collage about that. And actually, there's this really cool feature in Pinterest when you're looking at makeup. It lets you choose like what skin tones you want to look at, which was great. This is what I'm thinking. Kind of this alien, a little industrial. So I'm gonna charge my laptop for a bit, and then I'll like keep coming back and forth and all that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm back. I don't know how much you can tell, but I've kind of traced the outline of the eyeliner that I want. So there you can see I did it in brown. Um, and ideally I would do white eyeliner. Kind of that's more like the inspo pics I have, but I don't have any white eyeliner at the moment, and so I'm just gonna do it in black, and then kind of like just to have the shape, the concept, see how I feel about it. Another thing that I thought about, like things that I don't know if this is a guide about like what grad school is like. I guess like my perspective of grad school from like the first month in or something. But I do think that when you come in, depending on the program, there will be a lot of varying ages, because obviously graduate school is something that people pursue for different reasons. I think that adds to this independence aspect of the program because there is no, you know, homogeneous kind of experience that you can provide for this classroom that has people from ages 20 to 50 in it, right? Um, so there's that, but I think so. That is one thing. Like you'll have it creates for an interesting environment. You can communicate with people from all kinds of walks of life, which is really cool. From people who have more experience than you, people who have less experience than you, people just you can get all these kinds of perspectives. So that's something that is nice. I do think it can get lonely. I think I especially say this at the beginning because obviously I'm still in the process of creating that community for myself and even getting to know the place where I live and everything, like what's around, what activities there are to do, what things do I like to do, like what kind of thing fits my routine. So as I slowly go through that process, I think something that can happen is being pressured not to date or being pressured to date. But there will be some kind of tension with romantic relations because I noticed that from people that I just know and like got married while being in the program, or a lot of people that get engaged, or a lot of people that find partners, or there's kind of like this desire to connect romantically. And I think part of it might be because you're in the period of your life where this would happen. Like people do get in relationships and all that, and they get in committed relationships, and it's especially around this adulthood time when things are more stable and people are kind of working on their careers, and the future can become more clear to like, well, what do I want, kids, marriage, whatever. And it might not be entirely a bad thing. I think since arriving, I was very adamant on being like, I'm not gonna date anyone, and I don't want to like get in a relationship just because I'm lonely, or just just something about that. Like it felt selfish, but I guess if there's a desire, I'm like, why not? Like if you want to go on a date, just go on a date. Like there's nothing. It's not that deep. Like maybe you end up getting into a relationship actually afterwards, but um that was one aspect that I did remark on. Like relationships will play a role. Either you're trying to avoid them or you pursuing one. And there's definitely people who go to graduate school to get married or who have it as one of their goals. Because imagine you finish when you're like in your 30s. You probably want to leave with your degree and your ring, right? I don't blame anyone for having that, mentality. So, yeah, that's just something else to keep in mind. I guess there's that, like, this is a place that will take a lot of your youth. A friend put it this way the other day. She said, like, I gave most of my 20s to this university. I mean, you have to think about that. Is that a commitment that you're willing to do? Um, yeah. So this is how it's going. On camera, it looks really cool. I don't think it looks that cool in person because I mean it's just a lot messier when you see it up close. But I guess that doesn't really matter with graphic eyeliner. The thing with going like doing these kind of makeups is always a debate between, do I want to look pretty or do I want to look cool? Because this is not, sometimes I can look a little scary, especially if I look at it like, you know, it looks like there's something wrong with me. I don't know, other tips, like other hot takes for this month in. I guess don't take things too personally. Because again, like I feel like people kind of have their own lives, and this is always the case. But especially here, everyone's just really zeroed in on a particular personal project. Like, they always say like college is a journey or whatever, but this at this level, I think at the graduate level, it generally is like just a very personal journey, because your research and whatever you're doing is also so tailored to your interests, and or you are really tailoring things down to your own personal interest, that I think that kind of develops a certain type of personality as well, that can be a little bit isolationist, and that really tends to prioritize like time and self-care, and things just surrounding the self. So it's not the biggest community making space, and I think it depends on where you go, obviously, but I think that's kind of the vibe that I get, not just from where I'm at, but from having talked to other people in other, universities and departments and all that. Just like, that's just how graduate school is, very um personal. Maybe this is more a reminder to myself to, like, try to stay open, even if this is kind of a personal journey, like to never lose that aspect of community from my path. But ultimately, I think that's kind of another advice I can give for now. And I think this, more than anything, is just all advice for me. Maybe this video, I'll just come back to it when I need to remember like these words, and I'll be like, okay, everything's fine. So this is the final product. It looks so much better now that I've added all this like white highlighter stuff. So I don't know if I would leave it with this, or if I would actually buy like a really pigmented white. Um, I think that might be a good idea, because I mean this line's like, I love this eye. Like, I like it so much better than this one actually. But I usually like to go for asymmetric looks when it comes to these kind of makeups, because it just, I don't know, it makes it more fun and adds dimension. But I would, you have to trust the process. Like, that's how it goes. Because at first I thought that this one would be terrible, and now look at that, with all that highlighter, it just kind of looks like I said, that my eye is disintegrating or something. Um, but yeah, this is the final. Literally, this is the most like shower makeup ever. Even though I'm not gonna shower because I already did. I'm just gonna go wash this off. It's missing lashes, obviously, because I am not going to put mascara. I want to go to bed. I'm excited about the prospect of going. Please pray for me. I hope it works out. I'm kind of obsessed, but you have to look at me from afar. Like, that's where it looks good. That's okay. So this is one potential makeup that I would do if I went to this rave. And then the last hot take advice talk. I don't know what the title of this video is gonna be anymore, but about grad school. Just, I think, don't have a lot of huge expectations, and I think this applies to many other things in life. But generally, just allow for the place, for the environment, for your research, for your work, for yourself as an individual to, kind of reveal itself to you over time. Um, I'm in this very Heideggerian vibe, obviously, so that's why I'm thinking of unconcealment, because this is what I've been reading lately. But I do find some truth in that, and the fact that, there are certain things in life which will allow you to find yourself. You just kind of have to be attentive to the signs, and once you find them, slowly follow the path. But give space for things to fall into place, let's say. Um, so, yeah, good luck.